Now on that same day, two of Jesus' disciples were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. And they were talking with each other about all these things that had happened. While they were talking and discussing, Jesus himself came near and went with them, but their eyes were kept from recognizing him. To the honor and glory of God, who by the word and through the Spirit creates, redeems, and sanctifies us all. Amen. At St. Margaret's Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C., there is a Tiffany window set into the wall behind the altar. The window depicts Cleopas, the other disciples, encountering a stranger on the road. The stranger we know is Jesus. The window is simply captioned, "Abide with us." It is a stunning window with all of the glorious colors and artistry that one sees in Tiffany windows. But the most amazing thing about this window is that as the sun goes down, as the shadows lengthen, the image of Jesus disappears. As the shadows fall over the window, the image of Jesus in the window fades until there is only Cleopas, the other disciple, the road, and the caption, "Abide with us," visible. When I served as rector at St. Margaret's, I was so captivated by this miracle of artistry that the people at Tiffany Studios could do this amazing thing with glass. And I would go into the empty nave in the evening just to watch it happen. It was powerful and moving every single time. As we encounter the story of the road to Emmaus from the Gospel of Luke, I recognize that I am encountering it in such strange and odd circumstances. I'm encountering it at a time when I cannot extol the virtues of community, of gathering together, of breaking and sharing bread without realizing that I am preaching to my iPad. I come to this story in a place where it feels less like the joyous time of Eastertide and more like an extended Lent. In this time of what one scholar called pandemic Easter, I am so aware of the pain and suffering in our world. I am so aware of people lamenting that their loved ones are dying alone. I'm so aware of our healthcare workers and those who have been dubbed essential, who are working so hard under frightening circumstances. My sister is a cardiac care nurse. And when I talked to her a couple of days ago, she said, "Sis, I am so scared. And I am so tired of being scared." In these days, so many of us are tired, bone weary, stressed out, frustrated, aggravated, irritated, isolated. So many of us are lamenting these circumstances because these circumstances are confusing and frustrating and frightening and hard. And it is perhaps because I find myself longing to be in community and in communion with God's people. It's perhaps that I find myself feeling those feelings of isolation that the words from today's gospel that stuck with me were, "And their eyes were kept from recognizing him." One of the things that I found powerful in those words was the reminder that Jesus was walking the road with Cleopas and that other disciple. Jesus was walking with them in their fear, in their anxiety, in their sorrow. And even though they didn't recognize him, Jesus was still there. And Jesus is walking with you and with me on this road, on this scary, frustrating, anxiety-producing COVID-19 road. Jesus is walking with us. Even though we may not recognize him, even though we may not experience him, even though our eyes are kept from seeing him, Jesus is walking with us. And as Jesus walks with us, Jesus is doing what Jesus does, and that is revealing grace to us, revealing love to us, reminding us that we can trust the God who promises to be with us. Jesus is walking with us in these sad, anxious, frustrating times. Jesus is traveling this very same road, and we are not alone. It is like when the shadows fall and the image of Jesus fades from the Tiffany window. The image is still there. Jesus is still here with you and with me and with all of us as we make this journey. And when the time comes that we gather around the table, we will remember this time and we will say, even then, even when things were terrible, even when things were horrible, were not our hearts burning?